The church massacre in Sutherland Springs, the shooting in Las Vegas, and before those, San Bernardino, Sandy Hook, Orlando, and so many more. These days, many people think about how they would react in a situation like this. The Stop the Bleed campaign by UTHealth was held training sessions for students at the university's 6 schools to teach them about how to save lives during these types of medical emergencies. Dr. Sasha Adams here now. She's a trauma surgeon, and she has more on this. Thank you so much for joining me, because this is obviously a hot topic, sadly. It used to be the big life-saving skill that everyone needed to know, whether or not you were a medical professional, was CPR. But it looks like you need to know this as well.
Yeah, CPR is absolutely important, but this is the next thing that people need to learn. This is something that you don't require any background in medicine whatsoever to understand. I've taught my 6-year-old and my 11-year-old to do this, actually. It requires very little training, and then this is just the way that we taught it to them. And then once you have this training and understanding, then all you need to do is find a kit if there was a situation in which you needed these skills.
So show me what you're working with here.
So this is just a model of how we taught people during that class. We taught 80 students among UTHealth schools, all 6 skills. And the basic principles of saving someone's life after a life-threatening bleeding event. So whether they get shot, injured in a car accident, industrial accident, whatever the cause, when they have life-threatening bleeding that could take their life if not controlled soon enough, the principles are: 1, alert 911. You want to make sure help is coming. Number 2, identify where the bleeding is coming from. Then number 3, control it usually with compression. So there's a few different ways to do that. This is just the model that we use that has a laceration and has a model gunshot wound. There's packed gauze that is in the kits for the bleeding control kits, and you just take it and we teach people the proper way of packing a wound. Obviously, if you had medical gauze,
I just want to make sure our viewers can see just how you're doing that. Okay, so you're packing the wound.
If you had medical gauze, you would do that. If you didn't have any gauze, if you didn't have a first aid kit, you'd use a clean cloth. And quite honestly, even if you didn't have a clean cloth, if you saved someone's life, then I wouldn't mind what you used on me. Just please stop me from bleeding. And so we talked about the proper way of packing a wound, holding pressure, using pressure points, elbows, anything to help stop bleeding from this.
And do you hold that pressure on until medical?
You do, and you don't stop.
Okay.
And then one of the things obviously you have to think about is how long is that going to take, and what if there's more than one person? If one person is controlled with this, maybe the other one has hemorrhaging, life-threatening bleeding that needs to be stopped with something more than this. If this doesn't work, the tourniquet is your next answer. And I have one for you and one for me. You have the training one. Most of the real ones are either black or orange. And these are going to be in bleeding control kits. And the way they work is very easy, actually. You can put it on yourself or on a model, and you tighten it up as tight as you can. Now, once you do this, which is kind of all that you can accomplish with, say, a belt or an improvised tourniquet, all you've really done is stop the blood coming back out of your arm, but what you want to stop is blood going into your arm, because that's what's bleeding.
Bleeding out.
And this is the key part of a tourniquet that makes it actually work. This is called a windlass, and when you tighten it down, you can tighten it far enough down that you actually can stop the flow of blood to your arm.
I got it. So you could administer this on yourself if needed.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then these kits, the kits that they packed have all the necessary equipment in them to stop bleeding in case of emergencies.
Dr. Adams, this is great information. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.